Hello. This is the Everything Goes podcast with Gus. Guess who's back?
Hey, good to be back, Gus.
What's up,
Thanks,
Josh? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Yeah, good to be back. Thanks for hitting me up. Looking forward to today's podcast. Should be fun.
It's been a while, dude. So
Yeah,
what
man.
you been doing? What you been up to?
Just busy with life, work, a lot of work.
I know Dupree missed you, bro.
Yeah,
Dupree kept on asking, when is Josh coming back?
you had him on the show, no?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. He said we were just hating on him all day, dude. It's not my fault he wasn't ready. I had my notes. I told my stories. Not
Yeah.
my fault.
I don't think I got the chance to listen to the podcast, but how did it go? What'd you guys?
You know what? I thought it was pretty
Talk about
funny. Everybody that's listened to it tells me it was funny as hell.
Yeah,
It was funny. The majority of the people that have listened to it, they go, that shit was funny, dude.
yeah. I gotta go back and listen to it.
Yeah, so what you been up to, dude? Other than work?
Yeah, man, just work. The kids, fam, more work, and
It's the family life, bro.
yeah, man, trying to stay healthy.
Yeah, well,
And yeah,
that shit ain't working on my side, bro. Trying to stay healthy over here.
yeah, no, I mean,
Especially after
Yeah.
the 4th of July weekend.
oh yeah, 4th of July. What'd you do for 4th of July?
Oh, dude. Other than the fucking earthquakes, bro, we just hanged out with the family, fireworks, all that good stuff.
Nice,
Yeah.
a lot of good food.
What'd you do?
4th of July. Let's see. Yeah, hung out with the family for sure. I don't remember what specifically. I think we might have had some hot dogs, grilled onions. Like the whole enchilada. Typical American barbecue.
So do you do the hot dogs and the hamburger stuff?
The burgers, yeah.
Okay, you don't do the carne asada?
No, I mean we've done it in the past,
Mm.
but
All right.
yeah.
Yeah. I
I
think
want to
that's
keep it traditional.
I think
this
that's that's what I kind of told some of my friends too. You know what? I was like, I trying to do the 4th of July thing, a traditional American style barbecue and stuff,
year, for sure.
or burgers, hot dogs, and all that good stuff.
Chips,
Right?
beers, Bud Lights.
Bud Light. Budweiser, bro. Come on. Get it together. Get it together. Yeah, well, you know what else dropped on 4th of July? Stranger Things, bro.
It was on 4th of July, really?
Yeah, it dropped
Nice.
on 4th of July, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about 4th of July, Season 3 of Stranger Things.
What you think overall of the new season?
God, I think, you know what? It's great, bro.
Yeah.
You know
How
what
would you compare it compared to the other two seasons?
I thought the first one was good,
Mm-hmm.
and then I thought the second one was real good, and I thought this one was good, dude. You know what it is? They make them like movies.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a beginning, middle, and end, right?
Yeah.
And then in the end, they hook you.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, like, even, like, it's like part 1, part 2, and part 3.
Should we, spoiler alert to anyone who might be listening?
Yeah, spoiler alert, guys. If you haven't watched, you better catch up because you're going to find a lot of bad stuff coming up right now because we're going to spoil it right now.
Yeah, we definitely recommend it. It's a great show.
Oh, yeah.
For
Well,
sure.
you had to catch up right now before we even spoke about it right now.
Well, I don't know. What day is it today? July 10th? I don't
Something
know.
like that. So it's been out there, what, like, 5 days now?
Yeah,
6
yeah, yeah.
days? So
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as when I did the end game one with the Avengers. That I spoiled it.
Yeah, no. 5 days. I kind of binge watched it in the last 3 days. It was good. I really enjoyed it. I feel like there were some episodes that were a lot slower than
Really?
previous seasons. I feel like every episode in the last 2 seasons was where I'm like, whoa, like I'm hooked completely.
Yeah.
And then in this one, I found myself in like an episode or 2 where maybe even 3 where I'm like, okay, like there's really like there's just a lot of story, like backstory going on.
Yeah.
Not to take away from the show. It was good. I just thought like they
Yeah.
could have
Been a little bit.
condensed it a little bit.
You know what? I feel I feel a little bit different on that because I feel like there was all these 80s references, and I
Yeah.
feel like I was back in my childhood, even though I grew up basically 90s almost,
Yeah.
but part of the 80s, so I remember that era.
Yeah.
So it kind of takes me back before technology took over.
Yeah, it was actually refreshing to see that, right?
Yeah.
Like you see the kids, how they're all connected,
Yeah,
how they all
yeah.
played games, and the only thing that kind of gets them away from that connection is their age, right? Like they're mature,
because they're
like,
growing up.
'cause they're growing up, yeah.
So they're teenagers
now it's like there's so many distractions nowadays. Back then it was like walkie talkies. The kids were all connected. You're either biking all around town
or hanging out with your friends'
hanging out
house.
with your friends, music, talking. There was a lot of interaction, like one-on-one. You know?
Matter of fact, I don't even know if they still do it, where you hang at the mall. And Stranger Things 3, you know, they make it a big deal hanging out at the mall.
At the mall, yeah. I think there's certain types of kids. I know, like, you know, the mall, like in my area, there's a lot of kids from out there that go hang out at the mall and stuff. But I think it's a different like class of kid, if you could say that.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know that I would feel completely comfortable just having my kid like hang out
At the mall.
Do you remember that reference in Stranger Things where they go to Mike's mom and like, where are the kids? I think like Winona Ryder, I forget her name.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
With Fat Rambo go up to Mike's mom and they're like, where are the kids? Well, let me check. Last they were at da-da-da's house. They were at the mall. They were like, it's a summer. I don't know. They're out.
They're everywhere. Yeah.
It's like kids would just get
Yeah.
lost back in the days, you know? Like
That's how it was, though.
Yeah.
Just be back home before a certain time, right?
Yeah.
Now, it's a different era. Now you can't do that.
And you can't even get a hold of your kid.
Yeah.
Because, like,
right?
you pretty much have to be where he last told you he'd
Yeah.
be, because it's not like you could just hit him up on the cell phone
Yeah.
or something.
You know what? I had a friend that was always at my house, and his mom was always calling my house all the time.
Yeah.
Is so and so there?
Yeah.
All the time.
That's
so
a good mom.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that. So yeah, well, even before we get back into Stranger Things 3, let's talk about 1 and 2 before we get into this. So, what is it about Stranger Things that kind of hooked you?
Well, I definitely like the era for sure. I think the majority of the people that watch the show, aside from it having a really good story and you know, the acting is great, the theme of it all, man, like it's classical.
Yeah.
You know, you can't, like, you know, you just can't go back, and to see something so well put together like that, you have to appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I think for me, what hooked me initially was the story, but as I was watching it, you know, there's a lot of things that I recognized that lingered into the 90s. You know, like there was a Toyota, there was an 80s Toyota van. I don't know what it was called. I don't even know if it had a name, but they're these little, I don't know, like microbuses, they call them down south, that comes out in it. I think it came out in the first season as well as like a red one.
Yeah.
And then my dad had one of those. And I remember us having one of those as a kid in the 90s.
Yeah.
And it was an 80s van, you know? So
It kinda-
seeing that, you know, the cassette players and hearing the music, it was nice. Yeah, I know my dad grew up in the 80s, and I know that, so it was cool to see that and kind of just, and see that it was like, it was just like, it seems like a very fun era to grow up in.
Yeah,
for
no,
sure.
it was. Even the fashion statement they do. But I think you hit it right on the dot when you say, for me, I guess it's the 80s kind of thing. It just, once it was an 80s thing and then the story, it just hooked me, man. And then it was sci-fi with it. It was over.
Yeah.
Two of my biggest genres.
Yeah.
It's there.
For sure.
And then the story with the kids.
So it was great, right? That they used
Yeah.
kids
Yeah.
to tell this story. Like, you know, it's just a bunch of kids that we've never seen before. And it was just, I think that's the other thing, right? Like, the kids do a really good job, you know, at doing their roles. And
Have you ever seen It?
I think we had this conversation in one of the other podcasts. No, I didn't see it.
You never seen It?
We had this in the first, I think it was the first podcast we
Okay,
did.
that was a while back, but the reason I asked is because they kind of compare these two. With It, they have the same kind of kids, teenagers, but they call them the Losers Club. Where here is almost similar, but not. They're more nerdy,
Right.
In Stranger Things,
Right.
So they kind of compare it. So I think that's what's great about their stories with Stranger Things. They make you feel like you're with them, like you're growing up with them, and you see their. That's the thing that I really like about Stranger Things is they make you feel like what they're feeling and what they're going through, because at one point in time, I guess in my life,
Right.
you know, I kind of went through that.
Yeah.
The breakups, the music, the technology,
For
the
sure.
toys or whatever, even the movies.
Yeah.
Even the movies.
Yeah, for sure. I think one thing
Ghostbusters.
yeah, no, I mean, man, there's so much good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff. The
So-
movies, the music, it was so good.
So, what season do you think was the best for you?
You know, brush me up on the first 2 seasons, please.
Okay, it's gonna be really quick, bro.
Yeah, of course.
So the first one, we're at that's when they find that the upside down or
yeah, but this is like Elle hasn't been. This is when Elle basically becomes this. She's still
they still don't know her
in the facility, right?
Yeah, and they're still doing the CIA kind of mind control thing going on. They still haven't spoken about how the hell they made the upside down. I don't know if you noticed that, but
did they make the upside? I don't think they made the. I think that's.
Well, how did they discover it? They opened up this wall,
but I think it's into an alternate dimension.
I mean, I
think they explained it in one of the in one of the in either season 1 or season 2.
Okay.
It's an alternate dimension, and that's why everything looks the same.
But it's the upside down. Yeah, it's the upside down.
It's a different It's a different dimension. So it's always existed. I think what happened is they opened the doorway to that dimension.
Okay.
But where I get kind of mixed up between all of them is like, okay, so in the first one they opened the dimension, and then we'll jump back to Stranger Things season 3 now, right?
Yeah.
Where was it Billy that says to Elle, you let me out, now you have to let me stay, or some to that effect.
Well, yeah, but I think that's part 2 because of I think that guy was he needs a host, and that's what Billy was at the beginning.
Right.
But before in season 2, his host was
the actual little kid.
Will, I think that's his name. Will. Right. He was his host. Mm-hmm. When they closed the portal, supposedly all that was supposed to close out.
Right.
But I don't know if you remember one of the scenes. He kind of like does the dust and he just goes up in the air. Mm-hmm. And I guess so while they closed the door in season 2, he stayed out there, and that's what they were trying to like. How in the hell did this guy stay over here on this side? Well, they closed the door and they let him. They did not let him go back in.
Yeah. So then how did he didn't resurface until they reopened the portal?
I think until they were messing around with the portal.
So then when they opened the portal, that dust basically like reactivated.
Yeah. It started getting its power again and stuff, I guess.
And what was the whole point of the Russians?
Okay, well hold on. Well, before we get into season 3, let's just go back into season 2.
So season 2.
Well, season 1, obviously it's the kids and getting to know the kids and the upside down and obviously 11. And
that was with Will? No, that was the second one.
No, the second one was with Will. Right. He's the host, and now these guys are, remember it's when they all get back together, I guess. And now they're in junior high, I think.
Right.
They're in junior high, and 11 comes back, and they find out she didn't die or whatever, and then I guess their story goes on and again.
Okay.
Now Will's the host or whatever, and then season 3. Now this is where we're gonna start talking about it.
Well, so to answer your initial question, I think you asked me which one my favorite one is.
Yeah, what?
I'm gonna have to go with season 2.
Season 2.
I think season 2 so far is like the most suspenseful. And, and like, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you that the season 2 trailer, the Michael Jackson theme song, Thriller, and the kids running with the Ghostbusters stuff on. God, I think
it was good, huh?
Right?
Yeah,
I think that's one of the best trailers ever. I'm sorry, dude.
It was fire.
I was like a fanboy. I was like, crying like Dupree, you know. I was a fanboy there, dude. Yeah. I was hooked.
Yeah.
Trailer 2, hooked. Sorry. Yeah. So it hooked me in. The song, Michael Jackson, everything had everything about the 80s, bro.
Well, I think that's the thing that it does a really good job with, right? It does a really good job of, because the thing is we don't recognize these things. Like when we watch a movie nowadays, there's a lot of, not necessarily references. There's just a lot of things that are happening in the background that are a part of our era right now. Yeah. And so we don't recognize them because there's no reason to. But when you go back and look at something from the past, like even if you go back and look at Back to the Future, like
no, we're gonna talk about that.
You look at Back to the Future, and you're like, holy shit! Oh, that truck! Yeah. Oh, that song! Yeah. Oh, that this! Oh, that. It's just because it's a different era, you know. So they did a really good job at when you're watching this. It almost feels like you're watching something that was created in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like it's not like something that was done today that was made to look like it was in the 80s. It was like I'm watching a show from the 80s that just came out now.
Yeah.
You know? That's
what
it feels like.
I get you. Trust me, I feel you. I think anybody that watches this show, it kind of understands what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I think for me too, I guess. Well, you said season 1 best for you or?
Season 2.
Yeah, season 2 I think for me too. Now, let's jump into season 3, bro.
Season 3.
So, before we get into it, did you like it or not?
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah.
Was it better than 2?
No.
Wow, I think it was for me. I kept on laughing. I couldn't. I mean, I told you I binge watched that shit, dude. I binge watched it. I started with 6, and I mean, then the next day I watched the next 2.
Yeah.
So to me, it was great, dude.
Yeah.
So what do you want to start with season 3? With what do you want to start?
Let's have at it. Whatever you want.
So what did you like about season 3 then?
I mean, I liked listen, everything about it was good. It's not, there wasn't anything that I particularly liked that I didn't like from any of the other seasons.
Yeah.
I think there was just more about this one that I didn't like.
Really?
So that's my only thing. But I hate to hate on it. It wasn't my favorite. I think out of the 3, this is my least favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed it the most because I think of all the 80s references, dude. Maybe I'm telling you, I'm older than you, so I understand. So it kind of takes me back to that era. I kind of reminisce. So maybe that's one of the reasons that I understand a lot of these 80s references. Right. So, well, I think the favorite thing, the best part for me, it's obviously the kid's story. Yeah. And this time, season 3, have you noticed from Dustin and the other boys, they all have like 3 different stories going on at the same time.
Right.
And I think that's where I think it
there's a bit of a disconnect.
No, I think for me it actually made it better.
Okay.
Because there's 3 different stories now. Right. It's not just these guys over here and then Rambo over here with Winona Ryder. Right. And Dustin at the Russian bunker.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
So that for me, I think made it the best. I think.
I think that was part of my frustration, like where I see them they're all kind of working at something that's connected, but they're not communicating in the first couple episodes. And I'm watching. I'm like, dude, why are you guys not talking to each other? But I think one thing to take into account is that all this is happening within, like, in the story, it's probably in a matter of what, a couple of days.
Didn't it say 6 months later or something like that for them? I'm sorry, you're right. The season it's throughout a couple of days. No, I'm talking about like since season 2.
Oh yeah, no, there's definitely a time lapse for sure from between season 2 and season 3. I'm sure what I'm saying is like the moment the shit starts in season 3 to the moment it ends, to the moment the shit ends, right? Like how much time do you figure goes by? Maybe like 2 days?
Yeah, something like that, a couple of days.
Like 2-3 days.
No more than a week, I tell you that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
No more than a week.
So that's why I think like I'm watching it and I'm like, why are these people not talking to each other?
Yeah, because it's all happening. It's kind of like Avengers style. Everybody's living in the Avengers world at the same time. Everything's going on. The MCU world, homie.
Yeah. I mean, listen, with the Avengers world, though, I mean, fuck, it's a world. These guys are in the same town.
Well, it's their world.
Like, if I was in the fucking world. So, like, if I knew, so, like, Dustin, right? Yeah. This is this was kind of one of my a little bit of my, not pet peeves, but just, like, a little, my complaints, I guess, is that, so, like, Dustin is over here trying to crack a Russian code with Pretty Boy. Yeah. And they're at the ice cream shop. And it took him like 2 days. Yeah. So I think it took him like 2 days to crack the code, and then
Pretty Boy's name is Steve, bro.
Steve, okay. Yeah. So they're trying to crack the code over here with Steve and then Robin.
Yeah, Robin's a girl, right? Steve and Robin.
So they're over here trying to crack the code, and I'm just thinking like, how does he go home the day prior and not communicate with his homies?
What's going on?
Yeah, like, hey guys, there's some shit going on.
But just okay, before we even go, let me go in there. Let me get in there because just remember that stage as a teen, early teens, I want to say. So you're early teens and you're hanging with your boys, but you know how it is when a girl comes in, bro. It's over. You're gonna be hanging out with the girl, dude.
And but the only one hanging out with the girl was Mike.
Yeah, Mike with 11. Yeah. But Lucas had his girlfriend Max. Even though they don't act like, but they were dating.
Wait, Lucas? Who was the girlfriend?
Max, the redhead little girl that's with 11. She was dating Max.
Oh yeah, they didn't. I never even caught that.
Yeah, they were, because he's all like, "This is what I've done."
The on and off type.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because she's always like mean to him. I guess I don't know. It's a little weird.
She looks like a meanie.
They weren't love.
She was corrupting Elle.
Yeah. He wasn't like really like what's it called, lovey-dovey with Lucas as 11 and Mike were.
Right.
So yeah, but before I think I lost my train of thought. But specifically that era where you're dating and you're in junior high and you get your first girlfriend. All you want to do is go back with the chick, dude. I'm sorry. So that's how the disconnect starts.
Right.
Because some of your boys are not gonna have their girlfriends, and
right.
that's what was happening with Mike and his friends.
Yeah.
And Will specifically, you see Will like struggling because he feels like the loner now because everybody has a girlfriend and he doesn't.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the reasons. And then the other thing you mentioned about Dustin, you got to remember that era. In the 80s, the Cold War was a big thing. So they had propaganda about Russian spies. Mm-hmm. So everybody was paranoid, I want to say, in that time. I don't know if you ever heard of the Cold War.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. The 80s
so
was big, yeah.
Russian spies, bro, it was happening.
Right.
So we had Russian spies here in the United States. And so everybody was like always, goddamn commies or whatever.
Right.
So they're always up in what's it called? Up in their toes. Yeah. Because of what was being portrayed out there on the news. Be careful about the Russians here, Russian there. So obviously they make it sound like Dustin, once he caught the message, now he's gonna get involved. He wants to be the American hero.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel that's one of the reasons that Dustin got into like trying to break the code or whatever. Somebody's gonna listen to him.
Yeah, I forget how that. Yeah, no, it makes sense. I get it for sure. I get it. Yeah.
So, but how do you feel about him and Steve being like broskies?
Dustin?
Yeah,
Dustin
and Steve.
I enjoyed it. I think they had good chemistry.
Right? I thought it was funny.
I think Dustin has, I think, by far one of the best sense of humors in the group, out of the group. I think he has like one of the best personalities, if you could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Steve also, like, he's very suave.
Well, now I think it changed them, right? They made him very likable, unlike his season 1 character.
Well, I mean, in season 1, he's younger. He's a jock, pretty much. Yeah. And now, he went through some stuff with these kids, and he's kind of matured up a bit,
That's because Billy whooped his ass. That's what Dustin tells him. Remember, he makes fun of him.
You finally won a fight when he knocked the Russian out.
So it kind of humbled him.
Mm-hmm.
So he got beat up twice. He got beat up by the other kid. What's his name? Let me see. Hold on. Oh, Jonathan. He's dating Nancy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I think he got beat up. Oh, did he fight or something like that?
I can't remember.
I think they did in the alley or something.
They might have.
I don't remember. I have to go catch up on season 1. But I think that happened. And that's how he gets his ass whooped the first time in the alley. And then in season 2, he gets his ass whooped by Billy at the house or something like that. So he's 0 for 2. And then Dustin keeps on reminding him that, yeah, dude, you haven't won a fight. So it kind of humbled him.
Yeah, no. Yeah, he they did a good job. I think in season 2, he was still... I didn't mind him in season 2.
But he was still not all there. He was still like a punk.
Yeah, he was still a bit of a punk. I think also the dynamic, because it was still the entire crew versus here it was just him, Dustin, and the girl.
Yeah,
it was a little more of a personal, just it was just more one-on-one versus when he's in a group. But yeah, no, he's definitely come around, and he's a cool dude. He's they made him out to be a cool, super cool dude.
Yeah.
But quickly talking about Billy, how did you feel about Billy
at the beginning?
Being the
jock,
the bad guy for the season.
Well, he was a jock, and he was the like you said, like the bad guy, and but you know what? I think his character was badass, bro. You need to have like those kind of characters, like those badass characters. And remember, he was about to, the mom club that was looking at him.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
What'd you feel about that scene with Billy and what's his name's mom?
The one where they're at the pool, or
Karen?
Yeah.
With Mike's mom.
Yeah, but that's when they were at the pool, or
yeah.
That scene?
Yeah. She's the MILF.
I mean, he hits her up, and she has to make a choice, and she made her choice. So good for her for, realizing what was important.
And she was about to do it until she saw her husband with her daughter sleeping on her.
Right.
But if she had walked out, I think Billy would have just grabbed her as one of those guys that was getting what's it called, getting the disease or whatever.
No, he never made it. No, he never made it.
No, he never made it. But it could have happened still, because remember he got out running or whatever after he was done getting his face sucked or whatever.
His face.
Well, that's what happens, right?
Right. Yeah. Something like that. He gets impregnated through your mouth. That's pretty much what happens.
So yeah. So, well, that stopped it too. So
yeah.
But she was playing the MILF.
Yeah. No. She. Yeah. It's funny.
Here she comes, girls.
Do you remember the
Get
scene
ready.
where? Do you remember the scene where?
Yeah.
Where he goes and the husband. Oh, they're at the fair, and I'm just gonna call him Fat Rambo. Runs off with what's
Hopper.
Runs off with Hopper, and she's like, what a weird
couple.
What a weird like mix those two. And then he says, there's somebody for everyone. And then she makes this face like because
it's so boring.
Because
right?
She's like, yeah, dude, she's pretty much like like this hot mom. She takes care of herself. Like she likes to look good and and there's this dude that's just like, but he makes good money.
Yeah, and he does. Yeah, they do.
What does that tell you? Things haven't changed since the 80s.
No. Yeah. Well, besides, let's get into the other story then with the kids.
Yeah.
Or should we go with Hopper and Joyce, which is Winona Ryder.
Hopper and who?
And Joyce, which is Winona Ryder.
So Hopper's
Hopper's the sheriff.
The sheriff. Okay, yeah.
Winona Ryder is her
what's her name?
Joyce.
Joyce. I see. Okay, cool.
Joyce Byers.
So,
what do you think about their chemistry and their storyline?
That was good. I think they should have totally done the deed. Yeah. I think that was the only thing where what's the rating on the? Was it like PG-14 or something like that?
Something like that. But you know what? Stranger Things 3 broke records, bro. I don't know if you heard that. Yeah, it broke records. Streaming records, Netflix records up the ass. They broke.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The most downloaded a season of Netflix ever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, I would get on my phone right now, but I'll lose my train of thought if I start looking for it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but they broke records, man. So, yeah, but their storyline specifically, he plays what? You know what? I'm done playing by the rules, and I'm going to go kick ass. And that's what he was doing. Fucking Hopper?
Yeah.
That's what he was doing.
Yeah, he's a kick-ass dude. He's totally a kick-ass dude.
Yeah. So how'd you like that? His character, though, or his storyline with Winona Ryder going around and beating fools up. Even they beat up the mayor.
I mean, I think it was great. I don't think it changed from any of the other seasons. I think it's the same shit. Like, he's this hothead cop chief dude who just goes around fucking pretty much like
he was just pissed off,
throwing his power on everyone. Like,
you know what? It was funny though. I think his initial anger came from Mike and his daughter 11. That just pissed him off even more. How they made fun of him or they made him look stupid when he opened the door. You would see him kissing and then he'd walk in and they're like doing nothing.
Yeah. That part was. I didn't understand it. Whatever.
That was messed up. They were playing him, dude. Like he was like the dumbass or something. That's what he didn't like. He didn't like being played like that, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I would have done what he did in the end from the get-go.
Right?
Motherfucker. You ever dated my daughter? Like 3 inches? Are you kidding me? Leave that fucking door open.
Right? Yeah. I would have done the same thing. But then again, his daughter is 11 and she does have powers, dude.
Yep.
So I thought that was funny. I like this. I like this story where he goes in and starts beating everybody up because he's done asking questions and he's just gonna kick ass and do his thing, man.
Yeah,
and that's where he gets that nickname, Fat Rambo.
Fat Rambo.
He's the American fighting the Russian assassin.
Right.
What'd you think about the Russian assassin, dude?
I noticed the Arnold Schwarzenegger look.
That's
for sure.
That's a nutty 80s reference right there.
But yeah, it was good. He did a good role, you know.
Yeah,
it was good. He kept beating Hopper's ass.
Yeah,
you know, it was good. Yeah,
yeah, he got his ass whooped a couple times. Yeah, but you know what? His storyline is funny, and I don't know. I felt bad for him, and I felt good at the end where he's, you know, obviously, you know, the good guy won. He beat the Russian dude, the bad guy. But there were things there that you know what it is with him. He had no patience no more. You know what? I was like, fuck this. I'm gonna do it my way, and this is gonna be the fastest way. And yeah, he got answers. Everybody, if you noticed, even when they go to the guy that helps the conspiracy guy's house or whatever, and he's just done because everybody just looks at him like he's like Hopper's like the dumbass, like his way of doing stuff don't work. But time and time,
whose house?
When they go to the conspiracy guy's house, his name is
the guy that knows the Russian.
Yeah, that guy. You know how they have the Russian scientist. I forget his name. Sergov. They call him Sergov or because he's
Eek or something like that.
Yeah.
Some weird name.
Yeah, well, whatever. That guy.
Right.
Well, that guy, and he's just playing with them, and he gets fed up, and he whoops his ass or whatever, and he throws well, get out of here. I'm tired of you playing games and shit. So I think his anger and his frustration, he's just done. He's done playing with people. He's done like people like talking smack to him. I'm doing it my way. Listen to me and just stay back. And the majority of the stuff that he was throwing out there, he was proving them wrong.
But that's his MO though.
Yeah,
it's always been his MO. And he doesn't do shit until he's frustrated,
and he's fed up.
And then he's like, "Fuck, you know, whatever." Then he does, yeah.
No, but that's what's funny about it.
Yeah, I like his role for sure.
He beats up the mayor, dude.
Yeah, that was pretty hardcore. I was like, "Fuck!" Like this dude's got some balls because pretty much your boss at that point is the mayor.
Yeah, the mayor.
You're the chief of police. Who do you report to? The fucking mayor.
The mayor.
Like you just beat the shit out of your boss. Okay.
So he beats up the mayor, but he gets his ass whooped by fucking the Russian Schwarzenegger.
Right.
And okay, now let's move on to the beginning of the kids when they start seeing that big giant thing. I don't even know what it's called, the thing or whatever it's called. What is it called?
Oh, there's a name for it for just the character in general, the evilness.
Yeah, that thing.
Oh man, yeah. Forgive us for not remembering the name. It's obviously the something. It's like the whatever.
Yeah.
What did I think about it?
I wish they would have done it faster.
Honestly, I think more people should have died.
Really?
There was a part in the beginning when they're at the hospital. Is it Wendy or Sandy? What's her name? The girl that was playing reporter. That
Nancy.
Yeah. I think it would have been good if she died.
Really?
Yeah. It would have made it more real. Like the fucking evil thing is right there and just looks at her. And then in the end, when it comes to Billy, the thing just like, kills it in a matter of seconds, yet the thing takes a second or two to look at her and then Elle walks in and throws it out the building. I think it would have been better if she would have died there. There were some little things here and there that I feel like could have made it a little more like you would have been like, oh shit, no way, you know?
Yeah.
But overall, I think it was good. I just think it could have killed more things for how ruthless and powerful it looked.
Well, I don't think it was trying to kill people. It was trying to
was it get Elle?
Absorb them. Remember, he was trying to.
But for what? To what purpose?
It made him stronger.
But for what?
For whatever it was trying to be.
Well, that's where it gets confusing because I'm like, okay, well, what the fuck are you trying to be?
That big thing that's coming, or I don't know, the Demogorgon god or whatever.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm. So that's where I'm at. I'm like, okay, whatever. That's a whole different debacle. But I just feel like I don't understand what the purpose of. It was gathering people to try and stop Elle, I think, or try to get Elle.
Well, they were afraid of Elle.
Right. So the whole season basically is trying to get to Elle.
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do is trying to avoid Elle because they fear her. So what he's trying to do, that thing is trying to get stronger, until she kind of feels them.
Right.
And by then, she's like, it's too late. I already feel you.
Right.
I'm too strong. I think that's what I got from it. They were trying to hide away from her.
Right.
Yeah. That's why only Will was feeling him when he was around, or when that thing was around. He would feel him in the back of his neck.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Not until she went into that trance thing that she does.
Right.
She saw what Billy was doing. But even then, he was trying to hide from her. That's why he kind of dispersed, because he didn't want her seeing what he was doing.
I honestly have to go back and watch the season again, because I feel like there was so many things that were happening, and there's so many things that you're appreciating while you're watching it, right? Like, you know, the references to the 80s, like you're watching, there's a lot of information, and like our brains can only absorb so much. I'm sure that people that are like aficionados to the series have probably watched it more than once.
Yeah.
So I think I think I might go back and just watch it again.
Yeah.
For that reason, because I feel like there's a lot of things that I didn't grab, that I just wasn't able to grasp.
Yeah, because there's so much going on at the same time, dude.
In the first 1-2 seasons, like you understood what was going on right here. Okay, the Russians are over here for what purpose?
They didn't
want to experiment with the shit. To what purpose? They didn't really say, huh?
No, but I guess they knew what was going on because they had spies all over. I think that's one of the reasons they don't explain it. But that era specifically, the United States had some Russian spies.
Well, right, and then he goes and says, and then in one of the episodes they go and say, we try to do this where they capture the scientists. We try to do it like out in Russia, but they couldn't because they needed to be where like the doorway was open or something like that, and so we needed to come over here.
Well, that's the thing. They knew that they already had a doorway opened. Right. You get me? Right. They already had a doorway open. All they had to do was reopen it. Right. Where in Russia, they had to restart everything from the beginning. Their scientists weren't doing it. I think that's one of the reasons at the beginning of season 3, the Russians couldn't even do anything. That's why they were getting killed off. They killed the main scientist, and they gave it to Sergov or whatever his name was. Yeah, and he was put in charge. It was like, and they want to see results, and I guess that's one of the reasons they ended up in the United States, because I'm thinking some of the spies knew what was going on over there through the CIA or whatever.
Right. I mean, it makes sense for sure.
So now there's a door, and let's try to open it, and that's what I think that's what we're trying to do on the down low using the.
Right, and that's my thing. So okay, let's try to open it. For what?
That I don't know. I don't think they even knew what was going on. They just wanted to open it because they want to see what's going on over there. Just like the Americans, they just want to open the doorway.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think also maybe those are some of the things that they didn't really cover, because obviously in the end of the season, spoiler alert, I guess. Yeah. They're in Russia.
Yeah, at the end, yeah.
So I think if excuse me, if the next season takes place in Russia, if there's going to be a next season, I don't know. Yeah. I haven't looked into it, but
yeah, there is.
Then there's going to be obviously answers as to what's going on in Russia and what the whole plan is.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's the other thing. So this bad thing comes. It's trying to stop L and get stronger. But then what's it going to do? Is it just going to kill people and destroy the earth? But
I guess it's trying to make it the way their world is. Their world's all fucked up. It's all dark. So that's why it's called the Upside Down. Right. The Upside Down. So I'm thinking that's what they want to do, turn this world into theirs.
Yeah. Yeah, overall it was great though.
So let's go back to the kids' story, like the teenager stories now. When they're back at the mall. Mm-hmm. Just their timeline. What do you think about that?
What do you mean, what timeline?
Like when they all get back together, like not Mike and Nancy.
Oh, when they finally communicate?
Yeah, when they're all back together at the mall where they are. That's like the meetup.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it was refreshing, right? It was like finally. Yeah. You know, it was like you can take a deep breath. And then it was chaos from there. But yeah, no, it was good. It was good. They were all together, and then they were all happy that they were seeing each other. I just feel like that shit took way too long.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you on that. I feel the kids could have done more too, other than 11. 11 was doing everything.
She's always been doing everything, you know. Like the kids are over here with the fucking fireworks, which is great. But I
mean, it made sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I digged it. It was different, and it made sense for sure.
Yeah, it made sense. I what did you because you know what it was. I think one of the reasons they focus more on the kids on their daily life, on the way they grew up. That's the way I kind of felt, because even Elle, they're going through their breakups, and then they're going through like a shopping spree at that Gap. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, that was cool.
So it's stuff that kind of a lot of us have gone through as growing up. So they focus more on life, I think, on that aspect. I don't know. That's just my take. I don't know.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I can see that for sure.
So it was more like their storyline, their daily struggle with themselves, as friends, and breakups and dating.
Yeah, I like that. I think also, like, I think something that reinforces what you're saying is, you know, the letter that Hopper wrote, right?
Yeah.
Where he's talking about, you know, just feelings and like friendships and just being close to people and stuff. So that makes sense. Yeah, I think the series, I would definitely agree if you were to say something along the lines of the series was kind of geared more around the relationships, feelings, and the connections between the characters.
Yeah, right? Between the characters. I mean, even though it wasn't like that for Billy, because Billy, they use him as the bad guy.
Right, yeah, no, Billy was just fucking shit up.
Yeah. Well, you need a bad guy like that all the time, though. Yeah. I think he kind of did the redemption thing at the end. He redeemed himself, I guess.
Oh, yeah, that was cool. That was interesting, too, because, okay, so Elle was able to get through to him. What happened to the rest of the people, too, by the way? Are they all dead?
They don't say. I mean, other than, I know he died.
Right.
So he died.
Oh, well, you know what? They died. You know why? Because the news thing comes out, and the news article says like 30 plus people dead.
Yeah, but you know that all that was fake, though. You know that, right? Because they're kind of making fun of,
the whole conspiracy thing. Yeah. But 30 people dead was like the newspaper.
Yeah.
So the 30 people dead was, if you start doing the math to maybe how many people, like the how many people that thing took.
Yeah.
It makes sense if it's about 30.
Yeah. I mean, the killing thing was good, but I don't know if you saw the news outlets were blaming the cults.
Yeah.
Fucking the
chemical leakage on the report tonight. That's
devil worshippers over here.
Oh, yeah.
Cult like killings and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's funny. The media, leave it to the media to always fuck shit up.
Yeah, but they do that on purpose. You know that, right?
Of course.
Well, that's how conspiracy start, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a whole different debacle, but I feel like that's where you go where something's like something's factual and true, and then the way it's portrayed, it's all about how it's portrayed, right?
Yeah.
And so the way it's portrayed to the general public is a conspiracy.
Yeah, but think about it.
It's not a fucking conspiracy. It's what really happened.
No, it's happened, but they've thrown all these
other things.
Yeah, other things in there to make it sound like it's crazy. Because
completely, yeah.
Because if they tell you the truth, I think most people would go crazy, dude. They'd go all scared. They don't want you to be scared here in America, bro. Bad shit happens out here in the United States. They just cover it up.
It's the latest podcast with what's the guy, Joe Rogan and Bob Lazar, dude. You know?
Bob Lazar?
Did you watch that one?
I know who Bob Lazar is.
Did you watch the podcast?
No,
the 2 hour. Oh, dude.
But I know his story.
Yeah.
He worked at Area 51.
Yeah.
See, now that's
Sector 4 or Sector 54.
Well,
if you watch that podcast, man, it's great.
Oh, I know him. He worked he went to Pierce College, supposedly.
But listen, he starts talking about, not to get sidetracked here quickly, this is fucking very, like, possible.
It could have happened, dude. We don't know. The fucking Russians could have had bases here, just like as
totally.
We could have bases over there. We just don't know them either. Back in Russia.
What do you think? You think people would freak out?
I think so. Not everybody believes everything that the government says. Let's take to Stranger Things because on that side, the conspiracy aspect of the at the end of the season 3, they bring that up. So they make it sound like Hawkins is this crazy town and we shouldn't be there. What's going on over there in the goddamn Indiana Hawkins or whatever it is?
Yeah.
Is it even a city? A town?
It might be. I'm not sure.
Maybe I should have looked that up. We should have looked that up. But
is it Hawkins, Indiana?
Yeah, Hawkins, Indiana. Yeah. So I think the other thing is that this storyline, it was actually going on during the summer. Unlike the other ones, it was during the cold times and stuff like that. During the majority of the time, it happened during Halloween, I think.
Wait, what was that?
The first 2 seasons, it was happening during Halloween time or during the cold weathers and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. This time, it was happening during the hot summertime.
Mm-hmm.
So they focused more on what the kids were doing in the summertime, hanging out with friends, going on the pool.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, let's go another reference, 80s reference. Remember when Billy's walking onto his post when he's coming out from the pool back wherever? 'Cause he's a lifeguard. You remember that?
Right.
So he's walking, and then he looks over and he sees this kid running through the pool. And he goes, "Hey, there is not gonna be no running in my pool or something like that at my watch. You fat lard." Do you remember where that line comes from?
No.
From you ever seen that movie Stand By Me? It's a story about these kids or whatever, but there's a little story in that movie, and that's where it comes from. It's another 80s reference.
Oh,
it's a movie, yeah. Yeah. So they call him Fat Lard, so it's pretty funny. I think they even reference the Goonies in this movie. Goonies, I know they do Back to the Future, Terminator. I think Die Hard with Dustin and little Erica are going through the air vents.
Yeah, that was funny.
Even the breakups.
How'd you feel about little Erica?
She's funny. They gave her more of a role this time.
Yeah. I don't remember her from the other season.
Yeah, she had like minor roles in the other ones. I think this time they used her more.
Yeah, I think she was good towards, personally, in my opinion, she was slightly annoying in the first couple episodes, like with the whole ice cream thing, you know? I was just like, geez.
Yeah, but you know what? That's how it is.
Way too many lines.
You always have like that little kid or that little brother or the little cousin that's always like that.
But then later on, she was good.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah. They slowed it down a bit. They kind of toned it down a notch.
You know what character I actually really liked, and she came out really badass too, is Mike's coworker. Mike's coworker. She's the
Mike's coworker.
Robin. From Ahoy.
You mean the other? Not Mike.
Yeah, well, her
Steve's coworker.
Oh yeah. You're right. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah. Steve's coworker, Robin.
Robin, yeah.
She was badass.
Cool. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. How did you feel about the way they handled the whole gay topic?
Her coming out.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. I mean, he told her, you know what? They made it. Well, it was kind of like putting them down. Not putting them down, but he's all like, hey, I really like, the other. Do you get me? They didn't really push it out there, but you got the point.
Yeah, it was crazy. I didn't see that coming. Did you see that coming?
I didn't.
Yeah.
Were you disappointed?
No, it was good. It was really funny because like he starts telling her, and then I didn't understand why she like put her head down, and I thought it was very real. She puts her head down like, fuck, oh shit, like, this sucks. Like, what am I gonna tell him now? You know?
Yeah.
But I like the way they handled it. I like the way that they just went off and he didn't make a big deal out of it. It was just like, oh, da 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 da.
But you know what? The thing, I think the thing is that he was actually enjoying her as a friend.
Right.
And then the fact that Dustin kept pushing him to ask her out or whatever.
Right.
I think that's one of the reasons he did it.
Well, the advice that he gave him, right? The advice that Dustin gave him was really good, which is interesting because it's like a young kid giving this older kid mature advice on life. Which is really funny.
So, and the funny part, the majority of the season, everyone's like, does he even have a girlfriend? He doesn't even want to say. You get me?
Dude, I completely missed the part where he had a girlfriend at camp.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons they go up to that hill and they put the whatever that.
So that he could get in touch with her.
Yeah.
Okay. So
that's how he found out the code that was going on.
Yeah.
So he put that up, and he was trying to get to his girlfriend, and she never called back. Mm-hmm. So all his friends throughout the summer, including Steve's, are like, I don't know if he has a girlfriend. I don't know. So everybody's like questioning him, your fake girlfriend out
there. Which, honestly, I really enjoyed that scene. The part where he starts singing. He actually sang. That was a really good singing. At first, I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Which is what everyone else is thinking, right?
I was embarrassed. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but then like 5 seconds in, you're like, oh man, this is really good. Listen, it doesn't matter what, like, it's everything's going to be okay. Like, it doesn't matter what's going on. They're having a good singing song here.
Did you think it's funny? For those people that don't know, that song that they sang is from the Never-Ending Story.
I didn't know where it was from.
It's a very popular really good scene, 80s movie, the Never-Ending Story.
I know the movie. I don't know the song.
You know what's funny though? So they were all three-way connected, right? Even
everyone.
The guy that speaks Russian, he was like, "What the f? This is why I hate kids." Or
because they were on the frequency. Yeah.
So and even Hopper was like, "Oh hell no!"
Right.
Too old for this shit. Kind of. That's what he was saying. His body language was like, "What the fuck?"
Did you see? What's her face? What's the girl's name?
Which one?
Winona Ryder.
Yeah, they were like,
she was up against the wall, like,
oh my god, can we just hurry
up? I need the code.
Yeah. Even Hopper was like, what the heck? Because you know what? We're all past that. That's like kid love or...
Well, no. It had nothing to do with kid love. It's just... it had to do with the fact that everyone's life was at stake. It didn't matter what fucking love it had to do. You know? It was like, dude, our lives are at stake. We need to close this fucking portal. It's not time for you guys to...
I think that's half of it. But the other half is when you're an adult, you have no time for kid stuff like that.
Right.
But when you're a kid, that's your entire life. So stuff like that.
I get when there isn't a fucking giant monster trying to kill you, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's their entire life. This kid was waiting for whatever, Susie, I think that's her name, Susie, to call him back. And they go, only you, Susie Boo, or whatever they calls her.
I know you're always trying to save the world, and then what? It's like, I'm not gonna give it to you unless like really, I'm gonna die. Like my friends are gonna die here. Like I need the fucking code.
Yeah, so they start singing that song. I think it was funny. Even his friends were like, "What the f?"
Yeah,
they were making fun of him even after everything was done.
They were singing together.
Up. Yeah, Max and Lucas were making fun of him. I think I would have been doing that too. I'd have been making fun of him.
Oh, for sure you would have. You would have been calling him a GBG.
Oh yeah, well, hey, you want to sing that song for us?
No, not really.
I thought you really enjoyed that scene.
I did enjoy it. It was actually really good. I really liked it.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of scenes like that. They were funny as hell, dude. A lot of scenes, and that's one of the reasons I truly enjoy that.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Okay, let me talk about a little bit about the '80s references. I know we said a couple of them.
Handle, I'll let you do your thing.
How about this? The Material Girl. When Max and Max and 11 are shopping at the Gap.
Yeah,
so they're all going. I don't even know where they got the money from. First of all,
right.
Like
the kid has $3.50 to buy her a gift, but they can go to the Gap and just like buy a whole new fucking outfit.
Yeah, well, that's how the Material Girl, bro. And when 11 breaks up with Mike, they sing that one song. It's the foreign song. It's Cold as Ice. It's cold as ice or whatever.
How's it go? Sing it.
Cold as ice.
How does it go?
It is cold as ice. I don't know, but it's something like that. And it's just the fact that she left him stranded. I break up with you, and she just walks out, and he's like, "What the f?"
Oh, he says, "I dump your ass."
Oh, something like that. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
And he's like, "What the f just happened?" So they use that song. They use that song, "Cold as Ice." How about even then when they go back to their room, and she's showing them the comic book, Max and 11. He's like, "Let me show you what I guess it's girl power kind of thing." And she shows him the comic book of the Wonder Woman.
Right?
So he's like, "Oh, I never even."
There's another one too, right? What was the other one?
Well,
she had two.
Well, because she opens up the calendar, and guess who's there? Ralph Macchio, the Karate Kid. He's like, "Oh, he's just
right.
She's like, that guy is hot, and they're looking through all these 80s guys and stuff. So those are 80s references that a lot of us get because those movies were popular in the 80s. Karate Kid.
Right.
The George Romero movie, Day of the Dead or whatever.
Oh, Day of the Dead?
I think that was referencing to, like if you ever seen that movie, or at the beginning of that movie is like, the characters are like, damn, they're looking at, I guess, at all these walkers. He's like, I'm going to get through all that.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of reference that when Dustin goes into the Russian bunker and they see all these people there. Like, how the fuck am I going to get through all that?
Yeah.
So it kind of like, it goes back to that reference. Obviously, the Back to the Future. You saw that. Yeah, they all walk into the Back to the Future, dude. That's that's my favorite movie of all time. I'm saying it here right now.
Yeah.
How about that kid?
Wait, which one? Which one's your favorite movie of all time?
Of all time? Back to the Future.
Which one?
Number 1. Okay. Number 1 is the best. Number 2, I think they all go 1, 2, and 3. I still love that franchise. I'm sorry. Well, how about this too? Even when what's his name is when Dustin's trying to tell the guys that, you know, my girlfriend's hotter than Phoebe Cates. It's that one girl that comes out on Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It's that popular.
That sounds very familiar. I'm bad with names. I know if I saw it, I know what you're talking about.
I guarantee you know this scene when.
Of course.
When she's coming out the pool in her red bikini, and it looks like she's taking it off, and the guys everybody just looking at her slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure you've seen that.
Yeah, I'm sure I have.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And he goes, my girlfriend, which is Susie. Mm-hmm. She's all like, my girlfriend is hotter than Phoebe Cates, and it's that girl. And at the end, when Steve and what's her name were trying to get a job at the video store, he kind of like bumps into Phoebe Cates, like the cardboard.
Oh, I saw that, but I didn't know who that was.
Yeah,
okay.
Phoebe Cates.
Okay, yeah.
It's that same girl from Fast Time at Ridgemont High. So that was one. Obviously, the Fat Rambo, Die Hard, Back to the Future, just the movies. I think that's it. I mean, there's more. There was a lot more. I just can't remember all. I mean, I wrote some down, but I think we spoke about them all. Majority of them.
There's a lot of good songs too.
Yeah. Background. Oh yeah, dude. The 80s is probably like it's the shit for me.
I gotta play a Stranger Things Spotify playlist soundtrack. You know.
Right. Oh yeah. How about this one? We talked about it before we started recording. The new Coke. Did you guys see that scene where he's drinking the Coke?
Right. Yeah. So I noticed that, but I didn't catch that. So
this is the reference on that Coke. That was supposedly, remember the can said new Coke, but that Coke had supposedly in that specific Coke was sweeter than what they had at the time. They thought it was gonna be revolutionary and all that. So the reference is that only Lucas was drinking that soda. Everybody else was like, "What the hell? You like that soda? That's horrible." Well, at that time, during that time in America, many of the people that drank that soda were having the same feelings. Like they hated it. They wanted the old Coke back. And what happens is they got rid of that new Coke, and they brought back the original Coke. And I guess that's why we have classic.
That's why it's called the classic.
The classic. And then that's the way it is now. It's the only Coke. Everybody loves it, and that's the way it's gonna stay. Even though they've had different Cokes, vanilla Coke and all that crap.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, my favorite Coke is vanilla Coke.
Really?
But it's a regular Coke. They just add vanilla syrup on it. So
really,
that's my favorite Coke. They have other ones like Cherry Coke, which is all right.
My son loves that. He loves that Cherry Coke.
Yeah, my kid likes Cherry Coke too.
I don't know what it is.
I mean, hey, to each their own. Everybody's got their own fucking, taste buds.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all good.
They didn't show Pepsi. I'm pretty shocked that all this.
It's propaganda, man. You know,
this 80s stuff going on.
I'm sure Coke paid some money to make sure that they were on there.
Matter of fact, I remember one more reference at the beginning when
I'm sure the Gap paid some money to be on there too.
Yeah. And what's his name when Dustin comes back and they're surprising him? They're using C3PO and whatever R2D2. They're using the Star Wars was big in the 80s, so they're using that too. They're throwing it in there.
Well, you know what's interesting about that is that when I know I didn't catch this till now, and I'm sure maybe other people caught it, but when the episode first starts, right, and it throws a name and then it kind of zones out, I was like, for a second there, I felt like I was watching Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, because
the way they do it, right?
Yeah, because they
want like that was in the 80s. So yeah.
Because they want to for you to get into that zone,
that mode,
the mode, yeah. Yep. So I think that's one of the reasons I love that. I loved it.
Yeah.
But the story, I think, going back to before we finish the podcast, I think the story was great. I think for me, it was the grown up version, because they're older now, and they were having I guess they're trying to find themselves. I think that's that time when you're a junior high guy, you're trying to find yourself, trying to get your girl, trying to look a certain way, try to do certain things, and you can't always be kicking it, doing like little kid games and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody goes to those stages. I don't know. You don't remember doing that?
Dude, I just skateboarded like crazy all of junior high.
Well, I skateboarded too.
Crazy. Like I didn't.
Really?
I wasn't into girls in junior high.
You think they were icky back then?
No, it was just, I don't know. I mean, like, it was like, you had a crush on a girl here and there, you know, but it was never like, I think it was kind of like the way, I mean, even though this kid, I feel like his role, I have a complaint about his character a little bit, but.
Which one?
Is it Will? Is it Will?
Yeah, what was the guy that has like that feeling,
the connection to the bad guy?
Yeah.
I feel like they made him out to look to be too much of a pussy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think
at the end he became a badass. He was like, "Fuck it, I'm done with this shit. I'm trying to grow up." Remember? He was
right.
Shit away.
He was gonna So I think for me, for sure, it was a little more. Yeah, I definitely can't relate to that. For me, I was just more into into music.
Yeah.
Like actual instruments and music and stuff. And
the girls were into music. I don't know if you heard all the songs they're throwing in there. All these 80s songs, Bryan Adams and.
Oh man, the music is great.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's one of the things I envy about the 80s and not growing up in the 80s. The most is just like missing out on that generation of music.
Hey, Spotify, bro, go back to it.
Well, you can listen to it now, but I think, it just feels like. I mean, whatever. I think like every era has
their thing, yeah.
Has their complexities and whatnot, but I definitely feel like it was a simpler time,
yeah.
And I feel like things were more real. Like even when you listen to the songs, man, like the songs are stories. There's like, there's like depth to the songs, and I just, again, that's a whole different conversation, but. That's one of the things I really enjoy about it. Just the music, like when I'm hearing Dustin and his girlfriend sing the song, like I start paying attention to the to the lyrics.
Now you want to go?
Man, this is a good this is a good song.
Now you want to go see the Neverending Story movie? Have you ever seen?
No, I've seen it several times. I think it's on Netflix too.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know
that. Yeah. It's just. I think it was a Neverending Story like early '80s.
Yeah, it had to be
like
83, 84.
Right?
Yeah, 83, 84.
Like, I think like early 80s movies for me personally, just there was so much better shit going on later, and I just can't relate to it. It doesn't mean it isn't good. I watched it a couple times. Dog Flying Through the Air as a little Indian guy, and whatever it is, it was good. I remember watching it. I remember what the story was. Somebody's trying to save something, time. I don't know what it was, but I'm sure there's a lot of good music. I gotta go back and rewatch it, but. It was just like trying to watch the original Star Wars, like the first Star Wars. It was just for me personally, it was painful. I can appreciate the ones after, but
it's because it came out in 1977 or something like that.
Right.
So for the time, it was big in the time.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah.
But I think like if you're from the 70s, like if you watch that movie in the 70s and you go back and you watch it, you can appreciate it.
Yeah.
For me, trying to watch it, I can't appreciate it.
I watched it. No, I get you. It was painful, but. It's still okay. It's still good for the time. It's good for what it was at the time. Yes. Yeah. So before I forget, matter of fact, they also have a reference on the Goonies. You ever seen that movie, The Goonies?
Yeah, it's a bunch of kids too, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. The Gremlins. They're Gremlins. I'm sorry. The Gremlins. You ever seen that movie, The Gremlins?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, at the beginning of the movie.
It's on Netflix too, I think.
Yeah, the dad is he's very like the dad buys the little gremlin or whatever, and he's like this tech guy, and he always has all these tech.
Oh yeah, he's building. He's an inventor.
Okay, well, Dustin has exactly the same replica of of the hammer that dad and the Gremlins has.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
So what does he use it in? What?
He remember he's like, look what I did at summer camp, and he's like he has all these things and he's bringing it out, and he has that hammer that kind of like hammers on its own.
Yeah.
They have that on Gremlins.
That's
so
funny.
that's another 80s.
So he bought it like from this guy.
Supposedly
right.
supposedly Dustin built it,
Right.
but so now
that's cool. That's funny.
You get the reference.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah,
that's good.
So I think it's the what is it the what is it the creators of the show.
Yeah,
they're big 80s buffs. They love the 80s.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those generations of those decades that I think that people love. People love the 80s.
Huh.
And I could tell you this, I'm a 90s kid, but I prefer the 80s. 80s songs, 80s this, 80s that. You know, they had style, they had flash, they had MTV, give me my MTV.
Yeah.
I don't even think they mentioned the MTV, and they should have, though. I think they mentioned VH1 or something like that, but not MTV, I don't think.
Yeah.
And they should have done it, but I don't know why they didn't. Because I would have said, I want my MTV too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even the kid, he's wearing the Al whatever, Weird Al, Weird Al Jankovic or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He's an 80s guy.
Yeah.
Another guy that they didn't even mention. They should have mentioned fucking Michael Jackson. They never did.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson was big in the 80s. But just to close it off, the one character you dislike, other than Will.
Other than Will.
Is there something about?
Wait, remind me which one was Will.
Well, matter of fact, let me change that question.
Yeah.
If it's Will, or what part of season 3 you did not like? Could be character, it could be anything.
So I feel like the first 2 seasons were very, to a certain extent, realistic. I know the show's not supposed to be realistic; it's sci-fi, but it felt like it was real, which I enjoyed. This last season, I think my least favorite character was the evil fucking thing.
Oh, because I don't think they used it right?
It was just like not evil enough.
Yeah. I think they should have just kept them in Billy or something. I think they would have done that better.
It was just like, this dude's just hanging out in his fucking lair in the steelworks place, like trying to get power, and then finally when you have the power, you were stopped by some fireworks, like it just.
And he melted away too,
and
right?
And he just fucking like, and then it was as easy as turning off the just closing the doorway to completely killing him. That part just kind of irks me. It's just like it was like all this commotion for like all you had to do was really seal the fucking doorway.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that, but I feel like they made it more into a movie this time. I really feel that way. Where before it was, like you said, it was more mysterious, more creepy, and more what is it? What's the word you just used? More believable.
Yeah.
I think this time they made it more into that 80s vibe. It was a funny-go-lucky, the 80s version. It's kind of like the movies in the 80s, bro. That's the way it was.
That's exactly how it was, which is what I hated.
Really?
The movies in the 80s were so stupid.
They're the best fun.
Bro, it was like, Jesus Christ, the horror movies in the 80s were like this fucking guy in a mask that catches up to people running full speed, like, and appears, and everyone's in like dark fucking houses. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm going on a rant. It's just stupid. When I watch the 80s movies, I'm like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Like, who would do that? Who in the normal mind? All right, guys, I'll be back. And then they walk into a dark fucking house. Like one of those scenes, to your point, one of those scenes when they walk inside the old lady's house, it's all dark.
Yeah.
And no one decides to turn on any fucking lights. Like, who does that? Like, why would you walk into an empty house? And listen, I walk into a lot of empty houses.
It's
First
scary,
thing I
right?
fucking do is turn on the lights.
It's fucking scary.
As I'm walking, I'm turning on the lights. They fucking walk down to the basement, to a dark basement, and then turn on a little whatever light. And I'm just like, so anyways, yeah.
No, but I think you hit it right on the dot, where I think that's why I like it, because they made it into an 80s movie.
Yeah.
I think so. That's one of the reasons. That's why I love 80s movies, because they're fun, they're loving, I'm telling you, the majority of the movies in the 80s are like that. They're family oriented. Everybody can see them.
I'm not. Yeah, I get it. Family oriented. Like, I love all that aspect. I don't. For me, it was the actual action killing suspense was just shit to me, because it was like the 80s.
Yeah.
Everything else about it was I enjoyed. The music, the jokes, the connection with the kids, the references, everything else was great. It was just.
I think you nailed it in the coffin. For me, that's one of the reasons I love season 3, because it's 80s. They made it into kind of like a movie, specifically targeting 80s movies and music. So they made it look kind of like those movies, how they made movies in the 80s, man. I think that's my thing. That's why I liked or actually loved the season.
Oh no, I agree with you, and I think I said this before we started the podcast. The thing that I like most about Stranger Things, period, is that they don't even feel like they're references. I know you said like references to. It feels like it's a show that was created in the 80s, put away, and they just decided to come out with it now. That's really what it feels like. It feels like I'm watching something that's from the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, that's really how it would be. I think I gave you the analogy where, like, we watch movies nowadays. There's a lot of shit going on in the background that's relatable to the 21st century that we don't really appreciate but, you know, when you go back and watch a movie from the 2000s and you see something, you're like, oh, shit. Like, oh, yeah. But you don't appreciate it. The 80s, I just feel like, was a very specific time. It was a very cool time. So, like, when you see it, it stands out a lot more. Yeah, for sure. No, but I'm with you.
I think that's one of the things I love about season 3. It was the shit, dude. So, final thoughts then, since we're getting into that time to close the podcast.
Final thoughts. What are your final thoughts?
What are your final thoughts, bro? I'm giving the mic to you, bro.
Doing your shit. I feel like I've been doing all the talking, man. It's a great show. Watch it. Watch it with your family. It's a great show.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Okay, well, my final thoughts. I think.
Did you watch it with your kids? Or with your oldest?
No.
He's a little freaked out by it. Still
no, I think he would have watched it. I started watching them like at midnight. You see, I stay up all night. So my wife hasn't watched it, and she's a big fan. But yeah, but going to my final thoughts is that there's going to be one more season. They're going to close it off after the 4th season,
which is great, I think.
It broke records, season 3. And I hope they keep on doing what they're doing. The Duffy Brothers or whatever it's called, the Duffel Brothers, and they're doing a great job. I'm sorry.
Why are you sorry?
Because of what you said. I'm sorry that you feel that way about season 3.
Oh yeah. No, listen, it doesn't mean. Yeah, no. Finish your final thought. Sorry.
I think it's made for everybody, and that's one of the things I like about Stranger Things. They make them like kind of like a movie. That's why they only have 8 episodes. It has a beginning, end, and has a and all that. And then at the end, it has like at season 3 you saw where don't throw the American, not the American yet, when they feed him to the Demogorgon or whatever he is at the end.
Right.
Who do you think the American is?
Oh, of course, it's Fat Rambo.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So it always keeps you on your toes, and that's what I love, dude.
Plus, Elle doesn't have her powers, so she can't find him.
Oh, see, that's the other thing. See? So there's all these things at the balance.
Yeah. There's a lot of shit going on. That's what I'm telling you. Season 3, I think, so far is a season that you need to go back and watch, because there's so much shit thrown at you that you can miss, because there's so much going on.
Yeah. So she's the Jedi that lost her powers, and she needs to get them back.
That's why she can't find him.
Yeah.
If she had her powers, she'd be able to look for him and see where he's at.
Yeah, see where he's at.
I know that he's alive,
but how did fucking Rambo how did he end up there? Was there a fucking room that he got pulled under or something?
Well, so the other guys, right, the scientists in the ending scene, you can see when the thing explodes, they like dissipate, right, in the thin air. They never show what happens to him, but he was caught between the like electric-magnetic field, let's just call it that. I don't know what it was.
I think that's what it is.
But it was like an electric barrier that wasn't letting him get out. Yeah. And then there was the the wall, right? The actual opening.
Yeah.
So he was caught in between that. He was the only person caught in between that. So the only thing I can think of is somehow he managed to get back to either the Russian facility or he was somewhere around there knocked out and everybody left because they just had to leave.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they found him and took him back to
Russia?
To Russia, yeah. Because then the U.S. government came in, right?
Yeah, yeah. This is my theory. I think he got transported.
I think so too. Actually, I think you might be right.
I don't know how, but he maybe because
But if the Russians in the beginning was talking about how they tried to do something like that from the get-go, that means that they had something like that, over there.
Yeah.
Which would make sense for them to teleport.
Yeah. So I feel like he got teleported over there and just well, maybe even time traveled because that's a big thing in the 80s with these movies, eh? Back to the Future.
Time travel, yeah.
He maybe time traveled and he doesn't remember what he did and how he ended up there.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing. That's a good theory, and I'm sticking to it. I think he time traveled. I think he time traveled.
Yeah, no, it's there's a lot of things going on. I'm gonna definitely go back and watch it. Great show.
Well, let's finish it there, man. I actually enjoyed this podcast. Season 3 too. Yeah. Welcome back, Josh. We need to have you more often.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, man.
Happy to be here. It's cool. It's been fun.
It's been a while. It's been 2 months or something like that since you last been on.
Yeah, man. It's a busy schedule, man. So
yeah, man. So the podcast is growing, dude. So
it's good.
So we need to have you back on, dude. We're gonna be talking about the 80s in the next couple of podcast or episodes coming up, and
you're gonna have some of your OGs. Come on here and
my brother-in-law wants to come on, and we're gonna see how he does with the 80s kind of stuff. But we'll see.
Yeah.
And maybe you want to come on and talk about 80s stuff since you're more into the 80s now. But that'll be coming up
for sure.
Yeah. So well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, dude. No, thank you for having me.
So,
thanks for hitting me up.
So everybody out there, listen up for Josh. Have this guy come back on the show. So just
hopefully you guys enjoyed our rendition of or opinion of what we thought of the show. Yeah,
the review of Stranger Things 3. It was a major go, so go watch it, guys. So this is Gus with Josh. Thank you guys for listening. Remember, you guys can also catch us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, and remember we also have I also have a Instagram, so you guys catch us on the Instagram page on the Everything Goes podcast. So that's it, guys, and thank you, and I'll catch you guys next week.